Hey everyone, this is Devin Townsend from Devin Townsend Project, strangely enough, and you are listening and probably watching metalstorm.net.
Hey everybody, this is Greg from Allegaeon, and I'm here with Devin Townsend. How you doing, man?
Quite well.
Good. I was actually preparing for this interview. I was thinking about when I actually first talked to you was back in 2009 here in Denver, and it was the Between the Buried and Me thing.
Right.
And I went back, and this is right when Allegaeon got signed, and I actually went back and was like all fanboys, like sign my tattoo, and then I got into, I asked you about production, and would you be interested in producing, and then you're like, my wife, no, and then, but it was really cool because you took the time out, and just with everybody watching, you took a lot of time with every fan.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, and then like in 2010, the next year, you were first headlining tour, and it was Addicted, and then we flew to Vegas because you didn't come through Colorado, and the album was out, and I gave it to you, and we did the VIP thing, and it was awesome, and then you called me out on stage, and you're like, that guy's band rules, and
how's it going for them?
Oh, it was great. You know, our second record came out, it was doing really good.
As well?
Yeah.
Who ended up doing this one?
David Castleman, San Diego.
Sweet, man. Good, man.
So,
awesome.
like, my first question was, like, every time I've seen you 4 or 5 times now, you've, you know, every time you really take time out for your fans, and that has been something that I've totally looked up to. I've only seen you and really Dimebag take the time out, and individually, one-on-one, you spend a lot of time, and it's really awesome.
Thanks, man. Well, I mean, you try to. There's certain scenarios you find yourself in where it's not an option. You know, like a lot of times at this particular point, we've got a lot of meetings and a lot of interviews that are sort of preventing me from spending as much time as I'd like. But the end of the day is you do what you can because, in my opinion, it seems like folly to not accept the amount of influence that your audience has over your ability to do this. I mean, it's a good job that you have, right? And I want to do it. I love doing it, and I can't do it if there's not an audience, right? I mean, I could do it, but the things that allow me the liberties that I currently enjoy are directly in proportion to how the audience feels towards what you do, you know, and I think above and beyond, you got to come down to human respect, right? Like, I think if you're sort of playing into that sort of 80s hierarchy of us and them, you're going to find yourself out of a job eventually, because I just don't think that scene exists to support that anymore.
Very cool. Well, being a guitarist myself, I'd love to talk to you about the PVPDX, because this thing is just awesome.
We may have to move this into a different place. Anyway, carry on. So the PXD, right?
Yeah, PXD. Sorry.
PV approached me 3 or 4 years ago, before Key, and asked me. Well, bluntly, they asked me to get back into music and to quit producing, which I credit Chris Kelly there for. And the PXD is the guitar that we've released as a signature model, and it's a 7-string Flying V, mahogany with a maple top, 28-inch scale, EMG pickups, locking tuners, ebony board. Great guitar. It wasn't actually the guitar that I was hoping would be a signature model.
Okay.
I had always envisioned myself with a Telly.
Right.
But, you know, you kind of have to surf it all, right? And we've ended up in a relationship between Peavy and I that I think is pretty healthy, and we are promoting that 7-string as the Devin Townsend model, and I'm very happy with that because it's not a guitar that's trying to be anything else. It is very specifically itself.
Can I ask you a question about the 28 scale length? Because that's huge. Like, we play 8 strings in Allegaeon, we were 7-string only, and then recently we moved to 8, and we'll go max 26 and a half. And that, like, even playing 9th chords is like, I have to hold it vertically to do that. So 28 scale length, it's monstrous.
I like big instruments, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm working with 3 companies now, you know, and each one is specific. Like, for my metal guitar, I use Peavy. For the hollow body, I use Framus. And for my Telly, I use Sadowski.
Oh, very cool.
And I just like big guitars. I like, you know, if I had an option, I would have like a white Falcon-sized body and a 30-inch. I love. It makes me feel like badass. That's my new term.
Like that on when you guys just came through like last year, you had this white PV and it had these really cool fin protectors.
Yeah, we still have that one there. Yeah.
Is that something that PV came up with?
No,
Because that was awesome.
That was my idea, and I had suggested it to PV, but they didn't want to do it, right?
Oh.
Which is cool. I think it just their production cost to make that happen would have put the guitar over a price range that was reasonable. But my brother-in-law does it, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you look on the deconstruction record, there's his, email address, and you can probably get him to make them for you. But they're expensive to make those things. He makes them out of stainless, right?
Oh, really? I thought they were just rubber or something like that.
No, it's a good idea. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, and I'm sure that's what I said to PV. I'm sure someone's going to take that idea and run with it.
Yeah.
But just so you know. But no, I think it's cool. I mean, I think that scale length and all that. There's a difference for me, like a real clear distinction between what I use live and what I use at home to write. I've got a telly at home. Like I got a Fender telly, I got a Sadowski telly, and that's what I used to write. Like, I mean, live, I require a different thing, right? And the guitars I have live right now, between the PV and the Framus and the Sadowski, are just, each one of them are unique to its own thing. Like I got a metal guitar, hollow body guitar, telly, right? And they're the best ones that I can find.
So I know you use Axe-Fx live, and I love that. But is that something you do on the records as well?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, everything's direct now.
That's awesome.
That's the way to go. Well, yeah, I mean, again, it's like, at home, I use a Fender Champ. Like I got this sort of late 50s furry suitcase with a knob on it, right? And I like that. I like the real simple gear to write with, because it kind of eliminates all that sort of reliance on the technical end of it, right? But then once the song's written, then I start to fill in the blanks and sort of decorate it sonically, and the Axe-Fx is untouchable for that.
Sweet. So like all of Epic Cloud is Axe-Fx.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Like
and Ghost and Deconstruction.
Oh, okay. Like I've been listening to snippets of Epic Cloud, and it's huge. It sounds massive. It reminds me of Def Leppard's Hysteria.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is a great record. And
with a little bit of, I mean, lyrically, it's maybe it slants a little different, right? But I mean, I've always liked hard rock.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of hurdle that I've meant to get over in terms of my own process recently has been just allowing myself the liberty again of doing whatever it is I feel like doing without fear of it not being accepted, right? And I mean, I was sort of hung up during the whole making of Deconstruction on making heavy music again because of the implications of strapping and all this sort of thing. But I got through it, right? And I found that the shadows cast by these things are often much bigger than the things that are actually casting them, right? And then after Deconstruction, I said, okay, I've always wanted to make a new age sort of record, so I made Ghost. And then when I sat down to write the new Ziltoid record, which is something that's several years away, I found that that's not where my motivations were leading me. I kept writing these hard rock songs. And then I realized while writing it that maybe an even bigger artistic hang-up, rather than whatever the heavy music element was making something that was like simple and commercial. And I've always loved music like that. Since Ocean Machine, we've had Life or Christine or Stagnant. I've always written shit like that, right? And just making a record like that was just really, really healthy for me. And to make Epic Cloud, it just, then once I had the material sort of assembled, I was like, well, let's just take that to whatever epic limit you can take it to. And you've always kind of flirted with, the choral stuff or whatever, but let's just do it. And then having done it, I was just like, oh, good.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I've always respected that, because as a composer foremost, I have certain compositional challenges that I have to meet to do the Allegaeon record. Like, Allegion's not my natural thing. I'm much more of a, prog rock guy, but I have to put it in more of a death metal context. So, like, the fact that you've been able to just do whatever the hell you want is very, like, I respect the crap out of it. That's amazing. I wish I could.
Well, but you can, I mean, I think it's like, but I think there's something to be said for having to, compromise what's your sort of internal drive, whether or not it's Yes or Enya or whatever it is, and then try and fit that into a format that's different from that. I think that's a lot of times when innovative things happen. when you've got a mixture of say yes and death metal
Yeah.
or
Well,
something.
that's why I think of it more as compositional challenge instead of I don't really want to write this. It's like it's a challenge. You have to rise to it.
I think I've got so many records. I've got 25 records or more that I've done.
Yeah.
That for me, I think I've said what I needed to say in terms of a lot of different styles and genres, and I'm kind of at a point now where I'm very fortunate to be able to just say I'm going to do this now.
Yeah.
And I think that if it comes from a place of honesty, then you're going to have at least the people that hear are going to say, well, I may not like it,
Yeah.
but I get it, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's also this this thing that I find happens with my music as well, or just music in general, is that whatever you've done prior, it takes people a little while to digest, and then once they've digested it, then they're like, well, we want more of that, right? But it's not gonna happen. Like with Deconstruction, when I was finished Deconstruction, like, all right, I don't want to do that. I'm sick of that now. And then same with Ghost, and same with Epicloud, right? Like, because Epicloud's a little more compliant to the listener than some of the stuff I've done in the past, I find there's a lot of people saying, regardless of the people that don't like it, because of course there's a lot of them, right? But the people who do like it say, well, this is cool. Why don't you continue doing this? And I'm like,
I've already done it.
already done it, right? And so the next thing I'm doing is this weird sort of country record, right? That,
Very cool.
yeah, I mean, I think it's great.
Do whatever you.
So you're going to do together with Hank 3 an album?
It's a lot more mellow than Hank stuff, you know. Hank stuff is still pretty heavy. I just I grew up with Johnny Cash more than anything else, and that's my grandfather passed away recently, and I just became sort of infatuated with that generation, and I've been writing essentially this sort of haunted sounding Johnny Cash sort of stuff, right? And that's exactly where I'm at right
You
now.
gonna break out the banjo for that thing?
We did on Ghost already, right?
Yeah. Well, you did even on Syncester you broke it out, and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I got no taste for current country music,
Right.
but that beginning of rock and roll, sort of early '50s stuff, I love it.
Well, thanks. I think we're out of time, but dude, thank you so much.
Thanks for the interview and
Yeah,
good luck
it's
with your
great
band,
meeting
man.
you
It's
again.
great. How's things going? You guys on tour now, or
No, we're getting a van, and then we got everything lined up. It's just.
is this one for me, or is this
Yeah.
sweet? Thank you so much.